The stress of living in Lagos. The new record report is another reminder. The 2021 Least and Most Stressful Cities Index research report, which put Lagos as the second most upsetting city on the planet after Mumbai in India, couldn't have come as an astonishment to inhabitants. Be that as it may, given the significance of climate to emotional wellness and general prosperity, the experts in Lagos state ought to be worried about the report. The scientists, who appraised Reykjavik in Iceland as the most unpleasant, surveyed 100 urban communities for their size and importance, just as for accessibility of dependable and equivalent information. The investigation comprises of 4 general classifications: administration, city, money, and residents' well-being, each comprised of pointers that decide how upsetting a city is to live in. The report records the best 10 most unpleasant urban communities as Mumbai in India, Lagos, Nigeria, Manila, Philippines, New Delhi, India, Baghdad, Iraq, Kabul, Afghanistan, Moscow, Russia, Karachi, Pakistan, Jakarta, Indonesia, and Kiev in Ukraine. Since individuals are results of their current circumstance, the analysts chose to focus closer on its effect on the perspective of the occupants of these urban communities. Their decisions were drawn from the primary and ecological elements that are regularly pervasive, yet now and then ignored, and can add to an individual's general degree of stress. The outcome is a file of 100 significant worldwide urban communities involving more than 15 factors, each positioned on a scale from most to least unpleasant, wanting to show those driving the path in working on the prosperity of their residents and can be a wellspring of motivation to those that are lingering behind. To start the investigation, the analysts thought about which large-scale factors add to pressure, narrowing them down to 4 general classifications. Then, they surveyed more than 500 urban communities from across the globe against various pressure markers in these classes, prior to eliminating those without solid information, winding up with a last lineup of 100. They concur that the chose urban communities are not really the most and least unpleasant urban areas on the planet. All things being equal, they were picked for their worldwide likeness. The main classification takes a gander at legislative elements that direct degrees of incorporation in a city, like well-being and security, sex and minority balance, and socio-political dependability. These components address cultural structures which are formed by strategy choices and neighborhood laws, all of which can affect an individual's mentality. Additionally considered was the actual climate around individuals, since it has been demonstrated that high living thickness adds to nervousness and stress. The specialists did as such by surveying populace thickness, just as contamination levels, climate designs and the measure of gridlock in every city. To assess the effect of monetary pressure, they saw joblessness rates, government-managed retirement structures and the measure of discretionary cash flow a family has after expense and convenience costs, adapted to buying power equality, among different components. At long last, they considered psychological well-being and admittance to medical services as effects on feelings of anxiety. The end product uncovered which urban areas by and large have the most distressing social, ecological and financial conditions, and which urban areas lead the path in lessening the feelings of anxiety of their occupants. Lagos State, with gigantic populace and little size, fights with bunches of difficulties, for example, gridlock, insufficient lodging, water supply emergency, just as issues of safety of life and property. Be that as it may, when such countless issues come at you simultaneously and the assets are restricted, as indicated by Oluwatoyin Ayinde, leader of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, NITP, and a previous commissioner for physical planning and urban development in Lagos, you should start a staged way to deal with settling these difficulties.